it stands out to me that at 14, when you saw how chickens were raised, that they were raised in these giant barns where they're so crowded that they had no space to move. And they had no space to move because that increased their weight
Mhm.
rather than just letting them run around, like run out there and kind of burn off calories or whatever. If we can find chickens in these big barns, then we can get more money for them. And at 14, you're like, oh, that's smart.
Mhm.
Like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. And then you as an adult running a business that while there were a lot of financial challenges, you're making a living and you saying this this might this might make sense from a business perspective, but I can't sustain this from an ethical or spiritual perspective. And those two things where it's like you can totally see the logic of it at like a young mind, but after as an adult, after living this life, being able to be like, yeah, it still makes sense, but it doesn't make sense for my spirit or my soul or what I think it's right. So no, come what may, and I love that you said that. Come what may, I'm going to get out of
Mhm.
here, and that's going to even start with just writing a letter to the universe, which is the least logical thing to do. So we're like at 14, we're like, well, that makes sense too. Like whatever age you were when you wrote that letter, it's like, dear
Mhm.
universe. But it's the thing that helped you make this like profound change in your life.
Yeah. Um, I feel like I know that I'm a very highly sensitive person. Always have been. And my compassion, especially for animals, has been this huge, like, beach ball that I have had to keep repressed throughout my farming career, throughout I mean, because you have to make tough decisions when it comes to cows and goats and chicken. I mean, like, they are a commodity. And, so livelihood-wise, the compassion stayed down. And, um, and then when I embraced veganism, um, that compassion, it it for a while it was a mess. It was a big mess. Like for a few years, it took me a while to regulate, but um, I grieved it. I grieved for my own soul, for having been for having lived all of those years repressing my compassion. Um, and making choices that I knew in my spirit and in my intuition and intellect that were against own um my own sense of what was right and wrong. And so honestly at 14 I felt like a responsible adult because I had entered into agreement with my dad and with my family, and we were, I was getting up at the bus came and picked us up at 7 a.m. and I had to get my little brother up, and we had picked up chickens before and done all, like I was responsible. And then at 50, I'm 51 now. I just turned 51. I feel like a kid. I feel like my that compassion has turned me into like a filled with wonderment and curiosity, and I let my love and my compassion just pour out onto I don't hold anything back anymore. I don't when it comes to my grandchildren and my personal pets, the cows now, everybody gets it just like I'm just gonna give it all. Like, and it does feel childlike, and I've I'm so free in that. I cannot even explain the freedom that came with just letting my compassion out. Just no longer feeling like I have to make any decision about anything that would compromise that for me. Um, and that there's a level of freedom that comes with that that I can't even describe.